With game cards, you can put a game featuring Mario in this Nintendo Switch system and a Legend of Zelda game in this one, freely inserting the games you have on hand into any system you want.
Okay.
What if digital games could be as flexible and convenient as game cards? Well, here's what we came up with. Introducing the virtual game card.
So this is how they're going to get around being able to use it.
Virtual game cards can be used for digital games.
Okay. So this is how they're going to get around it for Nintendo Switch 2.
When purchasing the digital version of the game, it will be loaded onto your system as a virtual game card, allowing you to play that title.
Uh-huh.
Your digital games will be lined up as virtual game cards on a dedicated management screen.
Okay.
Here, you can load and eject your virtual game cards and manage which games you can play on your system.
So this is essentially just another way of doing what we already do. Right? Yeah, here we go.
If you have two Nintendo Switch systems, you can eject a virtual game card from one and load it onto the second.
Yeah, and internet is required
Now you
only
can
when
play this
loading
game
or
on the second
ejecting.
system
Oh, wait a minute.
and whenever you want.
So that basically means...
Just as if you had inserted a physical game card.
Okay, so if you ever had a
With
second
virtual
system,
game
you
cards,
basically
you can
needed
preload
an
and arrange
online
which games you
connection
play
in
on
order
the
to
two
be able to
systems.
play on a separate system. So I guess this is basically
Local
making it so you
communication
don't
with your
need to
second
have to
system
worry about
is
that.
required, but only the first time.
Okay. Because if you have it on your primary account, it works fine. But if you had like
also lend out
a
virtual
secondary
game
Switch
cards
that
to
you
your
wanted to play
Nintendo
off of,
account,
you
family group
needed an
members.
online account in order to play your primary
Connect to your
Switch
family group
library,
member system via
which was
local
very
wireless when
annoying.
you want to lend a game.
Oh, you can
Choose
lend
the
games?
title you're
Oh. That's massive.
And you're done.
So this
They
is
now play on their own system.
this is like family sharing.
You can
That's
only
Steam's
lend
family
one game at a
sharing.
time to a particular person. Games can be lent out for
This
2
also
weeks,
means that any
after
games
which
that
they will
I
automatically
own,
return to you.
anyone in the Switch family plan
Making
can
digital
also
games
play.
even easier to use. Virtual game card.
That's convenient.
The virtual game card feature lets you swap games between Nintendo Switch systems as well as to Nintendo Switch 2 systems.
Okay.
This feature is planned to be added via a system update in late April.
So probably around when the
Let's
Switch
take a
2
look
news
at
is coming
more
out.
Nintendo Switch games.
I'd be amazed if they released that super soon. That being said, the virtual game card thing, this is a big win, but mostly just out of necessity. Because like the physical cartridges were always better because you could literally just take them, put them on a different system, and you could still play the full game. But if it was digital, you could only play on that exact Switch. And most people were fine with that. But it would suck if you had multiple Switches that you wanted to like bounce between. Like you had a Switch to move around with and also a Switch that was like hunkered down in a specific part of the house or something. Or if, again, the example they gave where if there's someone else on your Nintendo Switch family plan who wants to play a game that you have, you can lend games between each other as long as there's a single copy of it. That makes sense. That like, would it be better if it was a situation where the Raidu game caught your attention? I'm glad. It would be better if like you always had access, like you and the other person had access to the same game that you bought. But I also understand that they would probably want people to own their own copy if they really wanted that badly. But it probably would make sense so that they wouldn't want people to double up on buying the same game twice on digital because you technically already own it. So it would probably have like an ownership label, and it also would work for Switch 2.
Convenient as game cards.
Like, I love this
Here's what
concept
we came
so
up with.
much.
Introducing the virtual game card. In the future, virtual game cards can be used for digital games.
Because it also means that games that never have physical copies, which is a lot of the Switch's library, definitely like get stuck onto that one system that you buy it for when they don't have this to go for it. And not every dev can like afford just getting a physical copy of every single Switch game that
When
exists,
purchasing the digital version
or
of the
making
game,
a physical copy of their
it will be
game,
loaded onto your
because that's a
system
whole
as virtual
extra
game card,
cost.
allowing you to play that title.
And it does also make sense just thematically to like have a digital card slot into the Switch.
Your digital games will be lined up as virtual game cards on a dedicated management screen. Here, you can load and eject your virtual game cards and manage which games you can play on your system.
Which it also basically makes it so that wait a minute. So some of these icons are different now too. I wonder if this will be the UI for the Switch 2, or if the Switch 2 will have a better UI just overall. Because, you know, some of these are like, obviously this icon is different, but this one is also different. Also, it's the light mode, so I could just be mistaking it because it's in light mode. I usually play in dark mode. But yeah, this is the big one, the second system thing. And just having an internet connection just to download the game, and then you can play it offline after the fact. That's good. That I think is very, very good.
You play on up to 2 systems. Game cards.
Hold on.
With virtual game cards, you can freely load and arrange which games you play on up to 2 systems.
Okay. So you can only... So this only works between 2 systems. You can't do this between more than 2 systems. Okay. Weirdly constrictive, but...
Local communication with your second system is required, but only the first time.
Wait. Oh, this is just for second system stuff. So if you have 2 Switches. So how does this work? How does this work with people who... Wait a minute. Oh, duh. That's in the next one. This is if you own 2 Switches. Like, this is specifically for if you own 2 Switches.
But only the
Okay,
first
I
time.
was confused. I'm like, wait. So family group
You can
members.
also lend out virtual game cards to your Nintendo account family group members. Connect to your family group member system via local wireless when you want to lend a game.
Oh, never mind then. You have to have a local wireless connection first to lend. That's a little stupid, especially if they're on, like, that's a little stupid, because if you're already on the same Nintendo Switch family account, you should just be able to send it over. You shouldn't have to local wireless at first.
Choose the title you're lending and who you're lending it to.
Yeah, that's a little dumb. I was waiting for the Nintendo dumbness. There it is.
They can now play on their own system. You can only lend one game at a time to a particular person. Games
That makes sense. Like lending one game out per time. That makes sense. The fact that you have to have local wireless to connect to people in your Nintendo Switch family, because not every family lives together, Nintendo. Like you gotta account for people who have Nintendo Switch Online family members that aren't in the same living space and maybe can't reach them physically.
You can only lend one game at a time to a person, after which they will automatically return to you.
Save data will not be erased. And it's only a 14-day trial too. So if you lend it to someone, they need to want to play it right then and there, and they only have 2 weeks. But I guess you could also reloan it to them. You could re-up it. But that's a little weird.
Weeks. Making digital games even easier.
I guess technically it's easier. Oh, by navigating to user settings and turning this thing on, you can instead opt to connect to the internet to start up software. Okay, so they so they have that alternative option for people who want it, I guess. But why would you want that? Yeah, it's weird. This part is weird. This shouldn't have to be necessary. There should be some other way for online only people to be able to do that.